Dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, next year's Aleksanteri Conference will be organized for the 20th time. On this occasion, we will take a look at one of the central, globally important forces which has shaped societies across different regions, both historically and in our contemporary world. The 2020 Aleksanteri Conference, which theme is Eurasia and global migration, invites you to discuss migration in terms of social, political, cultural, economic processes and flows, which redefine national boundaries and affect societal development both nationally and locally. We resituate the study of Eurasia in the wider context of globalization and hope to offer new empirical evidence and theoretical analysis which has relevance for social sciences and humanities, more generally speaking. Historically, the impact of globalization and Eurasian migration in many fields, such as economy and culture, has been enormous. Migration to and from Eurasia has been a part of interaction between the global North and global South, but also a part of building of past empires. Migration affects politics, equality, communities, travel of ideas, institutions, identities, religions, labor markets, education and social policy, foreign and security policy. Migration requires transnational solutions, especially in the face of environmental degradation and climate change. This question is far from theoretical. Mass migration from Europe to North America from mid-19th century to World War II included over 50 million people leaving Europe. After the Second World War, migration has become a central dynamic in ever-increasing globalization. Today's global migration includes more and more countries changing direction of dominant migration flows, differentiation of migration and profiles of individual migrants, traditional sending countries becoming receiving countries, and domestic politics being affected by migration. The Russian Federation, which is one of the current main receiving countries of migration, is an example of a country where we can see all these trends. Public discussion on global migration often concentrates on perceived economic and cultural threats. We talk about domestic labor force protection, shadow economy, negative institutional development, protection of national core values, and the cost of integration. We also discuss the significance of transnationalism and race for our communities. An important part of the migration-related public discussion concentrates on potential radicalization and crime. These discussions are also going on in Eurasia, and the answers vary. In Russia, we see the constant changes in migration management and legislation. In Central Asia, we see societies which economies are dependent on remittances from labor migrants working in Russia. In these current discussions, we can easily forget that migration has been a central globalizing force for centuries, and it has shaped national cultures in a profound way. Migration of people, both large groups and individual migrants, has influenced cultural development through the travel of ideas and knowledge, which has been central to human advancement everywhere. We only have to think about the impact of inventors, artists and writers from Eurasia and the impact that they have had on their adopted countries in the past 100 years. The 20th annual Aleksanteri Conference addresses the significance of global migration to and from Eurasia. We bring together leading scholars and experts in Russian, Eurasian, and Eastern European studies to explore various dimensions of past and current migration and its societal impact in both sending and receiving societies. We ask what kind of migratory flows and processes we can detect in Eurasia. What has been the impact economically, culturally, politically, and strategically in both sending and receiving countries? What has been the significance of Eurasian migration in other parts of the world? What kinds of transnational solutions to migration are required in Eurasia? Who are migrants and how do they live their lives? What has been the contribution of migrants to innovation and development in different fields? How have transnational communities and the travel of ideas changed the Eurasian space? With these words and thoughts, I invite you to Helsinki next year to discuss a broad range of migration-related topics through contemporary and historical lenses. Welcome to Aleksanteri Conference in 2020.